So one thing I realized in therapy the other day when like, I had my personal session with my therapist, she was like, I noticed you told me you lost like 150 pounds casually, and she asked me about that. And then she was like, you know, you should really do this sober thing because, maintaining a lifestyle like that to lose 150 pounds takes a lot of hard work, just like how being sober from hard drugs takes a lot of work. And it made me realize, as soon as COVID hit and like I pretty much quit like my healthy lifestyle, I gained all that weight back, you know? So yeah, I ended up losing it again. But that's just because I was withdrawing so much for months and months, because I kept the cycle of getting on, getting hooked, and then getting off. And it was just a nasty cycle. But yeah, it made me realize I can actually do this because I think I spent 2 years losing that weight, and then I maintained losing the weight off for like another 2 or 3 years. So that, like, think about that. Like, if I put that hard work in and took one day at a time and just, not give up the lifestyle, like keep going to meetings, holding myself accountable, being honest with myself, and using the support around me to get through hard times instead of, because it's really easy just to relapse, like when life is throwing you curveballs. So, same thing with like eating, like a problem with eating. Because honestly, I'll be real, I have a eating disorder. Like I went through the work of going through a binging disorder, and I still got through that without, gaining a bunch of weight. But as soon as COVID hit, like my marriage is falling apart, lost my job, I quit doing the Whole Foods plant-based vegan diet. Next thing you know, my weight shot up. Like I gained like 80 pounds, like so fast. 80 pounds became 150 pounds, So yeah, like addiction is literally a battle every single day. And you know how I know that's true? I meet so many addicts in rehab that have been clean for like 3 years, or even some clean for 15 years. And I'm telling you, as soon as they quit the lifestyle and it slowly creeps back in, next thing you know, they're back at rock bottom, and they're back in rehab and they're rebuilding their life. So yeah, and I was learning also in class that like once you activate that part of your brain, or like the addiction, addicts have different brains, right? Like they done brain scans and like they'll show addicts, drugs, and it triggers a part of their brain, and it doesn't matter how long they've been sober, it always triggers that part of your brain. So like once you become an addict, you're always an addict, So it's just gonna be a battle I'm gonna have to fight for the rest of my life. But I guess knowing what to expect realistically makes it easier. I know why I relapsed last time. Not last time, I'm talking about after my program in rehab. I did residential PHP, and I did 2 weeks in IOP with housing, and I was literally raped because I met this guy for a grinder, and it went really bad. And the place had bed bugs, and I didn't cope with it well. And then, stuff in my marriage, just like everything was hitting me at once. And then just stuff with the family. And I really turned back to drugs because I got hit by like every side. And then I just continued that cycle because I was so sad about life. I was so sad about my divorce and stuff. So never give that fight up. It's always going to be a battle. Some days are going to be easier. It's going to get easier the longer you do it, but it's still going to be a battle. You're going to be fighting the rest of your life. And that's something I realized recently.